I started off in burlesque. Naturally, through performing burlesque, I started to play with identity and drag persona. MX Wolverine came out of that. I describe MX as the guy who left the res to pursue his rockstar career. My drag name is MX Wolverine, and I also go by Midnight Wolverine. I grew up in the Northwest Territories, Treaty 8 territory. I grew up in a town called Hay River, which has about 3,500 people. About 2 hours outside of Hay River is my mother's community, which is called Indigiqueer First Nation. My grandma actually grew up in a residential school, so there was a lot of intergenerational trauma in my family. I struggled with some depression and anxiety, some abusive relationships from a really young age, and so there was a lot of stuff going on around me. Growing up, there was no queer visibility in Hay River and even in Yellowknife. If you were gay, you were not out. You were not outwardly gay. So it wasn't even like a thing that crossed my mind growing up. It wasn't even like, queer is something that you can be. You just never saw it. Coming out was really hard. It was a long process. I denied that part of my identity for many, many, many years. And I would use every excuse under the moon to tell myself that I was not gay. But I was. I left the North at 18. At that point in my life, I was like, I need to move as far away as possible. And so I moved to Ontario.
Hey, since I was young, I wanted to ball, yeah. Finish the mission and conquer all, yeah. I love winning, I can't change. I love winning, I can't change for you.
I used to hate Toronto because it was so big, and I'm very much a small town person. I love being around very few people. And so I never thought I would live here. It was the best decision that I could have made, because finding my burlesque and drag community in Toronto has been, I think, instrumental in my own identity and my own self-understanding. Often I find myself wanting to tell Indigenous stories through my art and through my performance. But when you're performing among non-Indigenous performers and you're performing for non-Indigenous audiences, there's a real level of vulnerability. Not everybody gets it. Not everyone connects to it. So my favorite thing in the world is performing for Indigenous audiences and alongside Indigenous performers, which is why the Two-Spirit Cabaret was so magical.
Way back when, we were having a feast on our reservation.
My performance at the Two-Spirit Cabaret was something that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. I got to do an act that I had in my mind forever, and it was a character based off of a movie called Smoke Signals, which is a very popular movie in Indigenous pop culture. And a lot of non-Indigenous folks may not actually know what Smoke Signals is all about, but that's what I love, to be that representation that I otherwise don't see.
I have a way to feed you all. She took a piece of fry bread, she held it over her head, and she ripped it in half.
It meant a lot to debut that act in front of a mostly Indigenous audience, because they get that connection to it, and the response was incredible.
Well, Whatever, I'm down. We in the res. Come bring your friends. Let's hit the town. Whatever, I'm down. We in the res. You heard what I said. Let's hit the town.
I feel like so few people would think of Indigenous men as these like strong, sexy, like attractive people, but they really are, and so I get to portray that through my drag. And that braid, which would typically be associated with femininity in many other contexts, within the Indigenous context, that braid is a source of strength and masculinity. Skoden! Skoden is another piece of Indigenous pop culture, so to speak. Skoden is the native way of saying, let's go then. And it's actually been used in a lot of like protest and activist spaces. So this idea of like, Skoden, let's do this. The fry bread is the best part of the Thomas Act. A lot of kings do pack. I'm a king that doesn't normally pack because I just don't connect with that part of masculinity, if you would even call the like penis a masculine thing. But for me to have the like dick pouch packed with a piece of fry bread is, I feel like it's very layered. And at the very end of the piece, I just pull out this big chunk of fry bread and eat it. And also, I feel less weird having my pouch packed when it is fry bread. When I started off performing, I was really unsure about how public I wanted to be with Midnight Wolverine. Is it something that I keep very hidden, and is it kind of this like other world or other life that I live? And I would say it kind of is, and it kind of has been. But it's been about 1.5 years of performing, and I'm starting to feel like it's not something that I want to be hidden. I put on high heels and lashes, and I feel 100% like myself. But when I put on a beard and boxer briefs, I also feel 100% like myself. And so for me, it's a way to feel like myself in completely different ways, but both are equally me.